Hello everyone, and welcome to a form of farming in the Philippines. I haven't done an update video on these tilapia in a while because there's nothing new to report. But we've sold, we might only have 10 or 15 fish left in this main tank here, in the for sale tank. And all the rest of these breeding tanks are overstocked. There's too many fish in them for breeding purposes. And still, after all this time, I still haven't gotten back to having this set up properly for breeding. So, with those two things in combination, because we're running out of fish to sell, and I'm guessing we've got about, 20 breeders too many. I'm going to ask Tilapia tomorrow if he and Nerio can spare a half a day and help me go through these tanks and get the breeding tanks back to the numbers that are desired, and even a little bit less in these large tanks here, because I don't want to put two males in any of these tanks because they'll fight. So all these small breeding tanks here will have, I haven't absolutely made up my mind. Look, 4 to 1 is a good ratio. 3 to 4 to 1. 5 to 1 is pushing a little bit. We're asking a lot of that male. But I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to go 5 females and 1 male in each of these 4 tanks here. And in these 4 large tanks right here, I think I'm just going to do the same, 5 to 1. Even though these tanks are much larger capacity, they will hold many more fish. The dogs are all stirred up about something. But before we had these, and the nets are gone. I don't know what happened to the nets. They disappeared. So since the nets are gone, we can't, look, these large tanks I had partitioned into basically double tanks, because as you can see, one of these large ones is about the same size as 2 of those small ones. And that's why I had them partitioned before, so we could have that many more breeding fish in here. But look, there's no budget for the nets, and I don't know what happened to the old ones. And there's no budget for labor to make new ones, even though we might have enough net left to do a couple of these tanks. Look, there's just not enough. There's not enough hours in the day for me to get it done, and can't afford Tilapia and Nerio to do it, because it's really time consuming. It's tedious. It takes a lot of time. It would take Tilapia and Nerio together, working together. It would take them, I think it took them like 10 days before to make the nets in all these tanks, and it's double net. There has to be a screen and a net. And so just figure 2 weeks of labor. Well, that's that's almost 10,000 pesos in labor to put the nets back in these, and I'm not going to do it. So these tanks are they're going to be configured just like they are, but with a little understocking of the fish. I think it's much more important that we just get the numbers down to a manageable level, and then piecemeal, 1 tank at a time, increase the densities back up, because we still have fish in the ponds. We can replace these breeders at any time. So it would be no problem at all to come up with an extra 4 males and an extra 16 females when we get around to reconfiguring these tanks. But for tomorrow, we're just going to get these down to the numbers that they need. We're going to put those extra fish in this for sale tank, and we're going to sell them. We had people come by today who wanted fish, and a lot of fish, and we didn't have any to sell them. And they didn't want the dozen or so that are left in there. They wanted like 60. And so it was kind of an all or nothing deal. Well, there'll definitely be some in there the next time they come. And probably within a month or so, we're going to do some harvesting and transferring out of pond 3, because we'll need the water in there. So that's going to be tomorrow's half project, if Tata and Nerio can be talked into helping me with this. We'll get some for sale fish back in these and get all these tanks here to the way they're supposed to be. Okay, so we're gonna use the cast net, the Tilapia, and we're gonna begin in this tank here, and we're just gonna go around the corner. I'm gonna do a serious water exchange today as well. So we're basically just gonna drain the tanks as we go. And Tata's going to get the Tilapia now, and we will begin. And since it's just me and Tata, there's not going to be a lot of footage of this event, because I'm going to be doing it with him. And using the cast net in these tanks really takes 2 people. Alright, so we got the net dropped in. It's basically just, we're holding the 4 corners, and then we just drop it in. And I'm draining these to make sure that we're getting the fish out. Because there's small fish in several of these as well. So I've decided on 4 females and 1 male for each of these, and 5 and 1 for the large. Yeah, there's small fish in there, large fish, all kinds of fish. Where's the ring, Tata? Up there? Here, let me hold this. You see the breeders are still in there, but the small fish have migrated from one to the other, and it's just time to get this back to where it's supposed to be. Okay, well, all the transfer is complete. Now, of course, as the rule, pretty much everything, the day I want to do this is a day where the electricity's out for more than like 20-30 minutes. It's been out for like 4 hours. And so, and it went out right as I had all those 4 tanks there drained. So we've been using solar since then, and as you can see, of course, it's a cloudy day. And so I'm going to wait about another hour, run the pump for another hour just to get these filled, because I had to shut it off because it went low voltage. And I hate draining my batteries like that. But me and Tata were right in the middle of this, and I wasn't closely monitoring the batteries. So anyway, what we did is each of these 4 tanks now has 4 females and 1 male. And each of these 4 tanks here has 5 females and 1 male. And everything else, and there was a lot of small fish, everything else went into this tank. And we easily transferred 30, at least 30 big fish into here, and maybe a couple hundred of the small one. If this would settle down a little bit, you could probably see them. This is pretty fresh water in here. There's a ton of fish in here. That's why I moved extra aeration into it. So hopefully it'll clear up. I need to run the pump for about another hour to get these last 2 tanks here filled up. And then I need a couple hours to recharge the batteries, because who knows when the power is going to be back on. We might be on battery power all night, who knows. But job done, and I'm liking it. It's long overdue. So now we have more fish to sell. The breeder tanks are the way they need to be, except for the screens, and that's not going to happen for a while, but everything else is just fine. So thank you, everyone. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe.